Welcome to the House of B Entertainment podcast. Today we're going to be talking with Jamie, on radio personality known as Big Smoothie, and we're going to be getting into talking about 315 Strongman, and Strongwoman competitions here in Central New York. All right, and we're back. So with me, of course, is Corey, and again, Jamie.
What's up, man?
And I'm Tommy. And so I have some questions for you related to 315 Strong.
Absolutely. Don't look at the questions. All right. Don't look at the questions.
You can, Corey.
It's a nice shirt, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
I like that. That's the new one.
I can't read.
It's a fat
athletic shirt.
Because you know, before we even get into the questions, let's just go off on tangents because that's what we do.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I jacked up the whole thing.
but I've always been a white guy. But I've always been an athlete. I played sports in high school, so when I saw you had the hashtag fat athletic, I was like, that's me. That's me to a T. So
all day long.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the strongman competitions, the strongman, strongwoman competitions. How did you first get started in all that?
Well, to take it back, kind of where it all began was 2014. I was 480 pounds. I needed to change, right? So through the radio station, I ended up getting an endorsement with this company that I lost 75, 80 pounds, something like that. And was training with the wife at Aspen, and ended up through the radio station at Pacific Health Club. And then I think we may have been there for a couple months. That's when we ended up meeting Tracy, and then she was starting the Strongman group there. And honestly, for me, like through playing football, you know what I mean, from high school to college, semi-pro, arena, I needed more competition in my life. That was my biggest thing. I needed competition, and I was like, oh, Strongman, all right. You see it on TV, and so we start training, and then she talked a bunch of us into doing a contest, and what was it, 2015, I think February was the Cranked 6, I think it might have been.
That's the one down in PA?
That's the one we did in PA,
okay.
Yeah. The one that you did the first shirt for.
Draft City Crew.
Yeah. And that was it. I mean, that kind of, it's once that hit, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, just the camaraderie of everything, you know what I mean? Like, here you are, you got new people, seasoned guys, seasoned girls, but it all just came together, man, and I was hooked. I was hooked from the jump.
Yeah, and you mentioned seasoned folks, and sometimes I've noticed that there are seasoned people that have been long in the years before they even join or start the competitions, and it's just really amazing to see somebody who's in their 70s and they're getting involved in starting something like this for the first time.
Yeah, you don't expect it. You know what I mean? It's we've had a couple, 2 or 3, that you wouldn't expect competing at that age, and they do it and they fall in love with it, as well. And it's a lot of it's just the people that are around. You can go to any contest, and you're going to have people, you're not used to having your competitors cheer for you, playing football, you're used to your competitor taking your head off, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit, it's a different vibe, but it's cool, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of what brought me into it, really.
And as a competitor yourself, I'm just curious, because there's so many different types of events that I never even knew about until I got introduced to this world. But what is your favorite event to actually do? My
favorite event is the yoke. Hands down, 100% my favorite event. It's put a weight on your back, pick it up, and walk, run, sprint, whatever it might be. That is without a doubt my favorite event.
You'll be able to check the graphic above. We'll have a picture of what the yoke looks like.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's without a doubt my favorite. Overhead, I have to learn to love it, because when you hate something as you're competing, you just get in your head where you just can't do it. And overhead's probably one of my worst events, but I'm trying to get better at it.
All right, so you've been you got introduced to it, and you started competing, and so what led to the 315 Strong and starting that?
Well, what happened was we kind of got to a point where we had the Trap City Crew thing going, and I'm like, we kind of need a name. You know what I mean? And that's me in radio and marketing and all the things that I've done in my life. I'm like, we need a name. You got to have something you can just build around. So, I mean, for a good month, I would write things down. I would work up logos, through Photoshop and stuff like that. And I'm like, 315, what about Syracuse? It just random things. I mean, Tracy always liked Tracy Troops. I'm like, yeah, but that's a girl thing, and that's great. And, and we had the Trap City Crew thing, and that was good. But I was like, well, we need something that just sounds bigger. You know what I mean? So I started working up the original, the logo that we have, 315 Strong, and put a tire in it and a keg, and put a guy in the middle, work the silhouette up, and I'm like, yeah, this will work. And then the first contest we all did together was there was I think 20 of us that competed down at Autism in 2015 before we actually put on a contest, and that was like. And there was 20 of us had red shirts, and people were asking to buy the shirts, and I mean, dude, it was bananas. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where it's like, this is something. At that point, we knew we had something. You just didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? But it was a group of people all competing, having fun, and it was cool.
Yeah, and you were building a brand, but also you were building a presence here in the Central New York area, because that was something that was lacking. As an athlete, if you wanted to compete, you had to travel somewhere to get to a competition.
Yep.
And so, how was that, getting the competitions going and getting that started? What was that like?
Well, it was right after Tracy did Arnold's in 2015, and we're like, this was actually before we even did Autism. We're like, we should put on a contest here. We had all this travel and people are going, and you know what? You spend a lot of, and we all know we spend a lot of money. $200-300. You stay a weekend. You're doing whatever it is, And I'm like, we should just do one here. So we started putting it together. At the time, Strongman Corporation, which was North American Strongman, was the only sanctioning body. So Tracy was actually working into being a state rep at that point. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So we sat in the office at the radio station I worked at the time, and we worked out the events. We worked out borrowing equipment that we didn't have. We worked out everything from top to bottom. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it went. You know what I mean? And we decided to put it on. I'm like, well, we got to have a name for this. So we start throwing around names, and I'm like, and I think she may have come up with Orange Elite. Or I think I might have had Elite Orange or something like that. And she said, what about Orange Elite? I'm like, bing, there it is. Let's do it. So then I worked up, and just once again, presence on a logo and all these other things, 315 Strong presents, which at that point, 315 Strong was really nothing. You know what I mean? It was just like, what the hell is 315 Strong, But yeah, it's been a wild ride, but like that first one going in, I mean, I'd never done anything like this. I'd always been the guy that was the setup guy for the radio station. You know what I mean? It was never, hey, you're running this top to bottom and finding a gym. And I knew Ryan. I had done some stuff at Edge before he moved into his new building. I'm like, we were going to use his prior facility. Behind it was a huge warehouse. And then I'm like, dude, why don't we use the new spot you're moving into with the landlord? Let's do that. Let me ask. The guy loved it, loved the idea. We went in 2 days before the contest, or a day before, to set it up, and I sold in vendors, and I did everything that I would do at a radio station for a concert that we put on. I basically took all that, turned it around, and did this. I mean, with the Syracuse Shock, I have the background of selling sponsorships and stuff like that for football, and I'm like, this is a bigger thing. So I got a lot of my friends behind it, and sponsorship wise, and we got a lot of free stuff, and made sure our competitors had swag bags and t-shirts, and I had t-shirt connections. So I mean, I basically used every single piece of what I learned and had at the radio station to put on this contest. So, and then Tracy got the people, basically. That was her end. And we had 70 competitors our first time out. So it was
pretty amazing. Yeah, being there myself, that was pretty amazing. And you're not just coordinating those events, you're emceeing those as well. So you need to, know everything that goes on with the events, the rules, and how to time things, and when to start the next event. There's so much involved in that. You know, and all the pre-setup and during competition. I'm sure that once it's done, of course, there's the tear down.
Right. Yeah. It's never simple. Yeah. It's never. Hey, we're done. All right. Hey, let's go. We're out of here.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where with the first one, we had no idea what to expect. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've only did 2 contests prior, and each of those contests were different in the way they were ran and how they were structured. So I was like, man, how are we going to do this? Tracy had that end of it. We had, like I said, I think we used every single one of our friends that we had at the time. You know what I mean?
A lot of volunteers.
Whether it be volunteering, moving stuff, whatever it was, it was wild, man. It's when you sit back and think about that first contest and the preparation and everything that went into it, you're like, wow, this was a lot of work, but we pulled it off. And I think that's the best part about everything that's happened since then.
So this past what was it? Past fall, you did Orange Elite. Was that 3?
3, yeah. That was our 3rd one. Yeah.
And then I know you just recently did a co-ed.
Yeah. Our second co-ed show. The first one was last year at Hercules. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it sanctioned. I don't want people to pay sanction. I just want to have fun with one and put it on the books. And we had a ton of people at that one. The one thing that I kind of got feedback was like, oh man, we wish it was sanctioned. And we wish, there's a couple things. We wish it was sanctioned. We wish it wasn't co-ed. We wish it was partners, and that could happen down the line. But so I'm like, all right, well, first part is sanctioning, because people want to have a shot to go, to nationals or whatever it might be. Right. So yeah, that was I think our 7th contest we put on since one of the first Orange Elite.
Quite a few of them now that you got under your belt. Mm-hmm. And I'll say to everybody too, go to 315strong.com, and you're going to be able to look at images from a lot of the past events. And the one that he's talking about, the co-ed event, one of the little things they had with that was where people could dress in costume.
Yeah.
And some people just really got into that, had really fun time with it. There was a lot of great costumes, and then again, this time around, it was once again more costumes, and it was just really
the first time, and I never thought, because I don't think I could compete in a costume. I just, what I mean, like, what am I going to put on, you know what I mean? But people come out, and they we had people that wore pizza suits, people that wore wizards. I mean, it was wild, man. It was wild. It was cool.
Yeah, Celtics with kilts and stuff.
Yep.
A lot of great costumes.
Yeah, that was wild.
Okay. So, you've talked about a few of the different venues. Mm-hmm. The next competition coming up is in a different kind of a venue, too, because it's not your typical gym.
Right.
So the next competition, can you tell us a little bit more about that and what the dates and what's involved with that?
Yeah, our next one coming up is Central New York Strongest Man and Woman. We kind of, how that one came about was, that's right, that's last year. Sure. We did Revolution Strongman. I think that might have been our 2nd contest, but and I love the name, and we may use it again. I don't know, but I'm like, I want a bigger name. You know what I mean? I think with everything that I've done, it's just like let's one up the next time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, what about Central New York Strongest Man and Woman? Before somebody else comes in and thinks they're going to put on a strongman show or anything like that, let's take that name out. So we did, and we sanctioned that one through North American Strongman Corporation, and we had 85 competitors. It was 41 Sports Center. That was last year. This year, same place. We'll probably have about 50, 55 at this one. And it's a huge soccer center, baseball. They have all sorts of kids stuff there. They do lacrosse there. I mean, I played, 2 or 3 different sports in there when I was younger. So it's been there for a while. And they really, are very outgoing for us. They love having us there. You know what I mean? So we use the whole turf. for people, for our events, for everything. The competitors have their own space there to actually have their stuff so they can get away from people, because I think that's a big
That
thing.
was something I thought was kind of nice too, is that there was like a basketball court
Yep.
where all competitors only,
Yeah.
you know, they could, you know, feel free to just
Yep.
put their stuff in there, no, you know, spectators or anything allowed, and it was their space, you
Yep.
know, and huge open field
Mhm.
to be able to just really lay everything out, set everything up, and not have to worry about, well, we're gonna have to move this stuff to get other stuff in.
Right.
It's
Which
just
we have to do at the
immediate.
other event. And,
Yeah.
and you know what? And that creates a lot of work on the volunteers to change
Yeah.
over. And, you know, that's definitely a big thing. And I'm at a point now where I try to pick events that are easier to maneuver, especially within that contest and depending on the space. So that's one thing that I'm learning through the process too myself. So, but yeah, it's a cool venue. I like the venue.
So, you know, we heard how you got started doing Strongman, but if, you know, someone's watching and they're saying, hey, that sounds cool, might be something I want to try, what kind of steps do they got to take to start getting into it?
We do have intro to strongman classes. I'll probably do another one. It might be after the May contest, just with how my schedule works out right now. But they can always contact us, you know what I mean, on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be. Intro to strongman, I think the classes that we put on have helped people that have tried to take the steps into strongman. Because here's when we're in a Saturday class, well, I don't even call them class anymore. When we're in our Saturday training, we click off at a pace, and trying to teach somebody while I'm trying to train or somebody else is trying, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? We've learned that through the last like 4 or 5 years with the amount of people that we've had, and you know, now it's a little bit smaller, and there's 2 different places people are training, but it's one of those things where it's just like it's hard to teach somebody in that, you know, that realm, because you're just like, listen, we're going, you know what I mean, and you're trying to get your own training in too.
Right.
So you know, but the intro to strongman has been very well. We've done, you know, we've had people come out of that class and actually jump right into contests. We've had people come out of that class and just start training with us to see where they can push themselves. So it's that's usually how we've gone about it in the last couple of years. So
Just to whatever their comfort level is, and they can basically just take that and go from there.
yeah, we'll start. I mean, like you know, you'll start them from some people that have. We had one girl. She never even lifted a weight before, and she's like, "I really want to try this." I'm like, "All right, well, you know, try it out," and she did. You know what I mean? And now I'm transitioning her hopefully into, you know, competing at some point this year. You know, it's just, you know, those are the things, you know, that you know, you've never lifted a weight before, and then all of a sudden you're lifting stones and stuff you never thought you would do. So it's cool.
Your wife Bridget too has competed, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's laid up right now. She just had ankle surgery. But yeah, she competes. She's done three shows, 3 or 4. She competed in the last 2 with a torn ankle ligament, which she's much tougher than I am. I would never do any of that. But yeah, she loves it, man. You know, she doesn't get into it like I do. You know what I mean? But she definitely enjoys competing. So it's cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, so what's next for 315 Strong
what's the future
and strongman competitions in Syracuse?
Well, what's next obviously is the next contest we have coming up. Orange Elite will also 4 will happen late September. I'm planning that probably at Hercules Gym, which is our home gym right now. The big future holds is me actually having my own space and having all of our own equipment in one spot and being able to train out of that. I mean, that's been my goal for the last 2 years. So yeah, that's definitely it's tough. I've learned a lot about the real estate industry in the last 6 months. I've learned a lot about bank industry, you know, and I've taken a couple of business classes, and so yeah, it's been it's quite the process, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna be, you know, really trying to put everything under one roof like that.
Yeah,
So,
that's definitely the goal. The big goal, I mean, honestly, I would love to do a mini type Arnold Expo here, like a Syracuse Strength and Fitness Expo or something like that. I don't know why that hasn't happened in this town yet. I definitely think this town, with the amount of gyms and people that compete in bodybuilding and strongman and powerlifting, it's ripe. at this point.
Right.
You know, it's just one of those things that's making the stars align to actually make it happen. So,
Well, if anybody can do it, I think you're going to be the man to be able to bring that forward, bring that vision to fruition.
I've talked to some people. I've talked to some people to see if it's something that could we pull this off? I mean, we have a beautiful convention center that we can do that here in Syracuse, and they actually talked to me about putting a contest on there, but I'm like, I think we might ruin this place a little bit. The room that they wanted to put us in, it would have been cool. Sometimes you just, dollars amounts, you just, you can't make things work. You know what I mean?
You just grow it small.
That's all, yeah.
Let it be organic and let
Yeah.
it get to that point where you're like, we can't sustain where we
Yeah.
are. We need this bigger
Right. I
thing.
mean, try to get too big too quick. It's
Yeah, and you know
fizzle.
what? I don't. I mean, I don't. And I mean, you've been around since the beginning, Tommy, and I don't ever really. Not that I wouldn't want to go that route, but when you start getting bigger, you start having more problems. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm, true.
And we've had some. You know what I mean? Nothing goes without issues.
Every once in a while, the music cuts out.
Yeah, right in the middle of a contest, in the middle of the deadlift, no doubt.
It's like, oh,
Oh,
damn laptop.
That was great. I was like, oh shit, I think my laptop just fried. But I would love, who wouldn't love to be traveling and putting on shows, and I've had some offers to put shows on in other cities in New York, and I just, and that's great, and I would love to do it. It's one of those things where it's just like, I'd love this to be my business. You know what I mean? I love putting on shows. I love emceeing shows. It's a big burden on not just me, but my wife and every volunteer that you get to help at the shows, so.
Understood. So, I mean, and some of the things involved, too, is like some of this equipment, you can't just go to the local athletic store and buy. You have custom-made equipment for some of these things, like, was it car deadlift?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And you can tell us a little bit more about, where you get this stuff from. And
Yeah, my man Tony out in Buffalo, he's made almost 3/4 of the equipment that we have now. He is a custom fabricator.
Get in there and fabricate.
Yeah,
That show's coming back. It's back.
Is it really?
Yeah, American Chopper's back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw
Don't
that.
tell me how that episode
I watched the episode.
I did watch the first one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was pretty good.
Okay.
No spoilers. No
No
spoilers.
spoilers.
We're actually going to be doing.
Yeah, they kind of.
Should I announce it?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do an upcoming episode where we're just going to do our our top 5 builds.
There you go.
From American Chopper.
there you
top
go.
5 builds from American Chopper.
A lot of good
It
ones.
is hard.
Yeah.
I've been working on it. It's like, can we do top 7 or 10 or
Yeah,
20?
right. Nope, top 5. That's all you get.
So yeah, fabricator. So you
But
got
yeah.
your man up there.
Yeah,
So build
Tony
up.
makes a bunch of our equipment. Some of the stuff I've had made from other people. You just kind of find people through the process that can do stuff. Some just disappear. You know what I mean? The car deadlift we actually had made locally, and that thing is beastly to move. So it's one of those things where right now it's sitting in my side yard. Yeah, basically.
Or truck.
A truck, yeah. But you're not going to use that in every contest, but you have it. You know.
Right.
And we have that. We have obviously a plethora of Atlas stones that sit in my driveway right now. Yeah, my neighbors must love how the front of my garage looks.
Look how the yard is decorated with them. They're just.
Yeah. I should do that
if you
too.
do some fun
I
play
really-
with it, then
I really should.
They won't complain.
No, they're sitting under a tarp in my driveway right now.
Just line the driveway with them.
Yep. Yeah, right.
Who's gonna steal them?
Exactly.
Oh crap!
Yeah, not a chance. And I have the platforms there and that kind of stuff. At Herc, where we have all our stuff now, we have, tires that go on the bars. We have those. We have huge steel rims that go on the bars for deadlifts or even overhead. We use it for that stuff. One of the yokes that we have is custom is there. Yeah, I mean the logs, everything is basically at Hercules. I keep some of the stuff in the garage. You know what I mean? We have a plethora of kegs sitting at Hercules. You know what I mean? So basically, getting kegs is not cheap. I finally found somebody that has a connection. So, but then filling them turns into a pain in the ass. Trying to get 275 pounds of sand, concrete,
I was
rocks.
gonna say, I've been used to emptying them, not filling them.
Yeah. That's quite the process too. It might take about as long as it is empty them.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is custom fab, and if something breaks in a contest, you just figure it out. You know what I mean? Lucky, knock on wood, that we haven't had that happen.
So I've been to a couple of these events helping Tommy with sound, and I noticed there was different events or different contests at the event going on. Is there like an official sanctioned list of events that that the governing bodies kind of allow you to do, or is there some leeway into what you can do with these
No, I
competitions?
mean, you can kind of come up with the 5 events that you'd like to have. You're always going to have an overhead. You're always going to have some sort of medley. You're always going to have a deadlift. And most of the time, you're always going to have a load too. Not every contest has to run like that. You can. I know some contests that get put around that they just kind of do their own thing, and they get sanctioned, and it works. Like we've been toying. I think in Orange Elite 4, we're probably going to do two pressing events. Which I haven't done that yet. And just some different stuff. You know what I mean? Each contest now, I try to put something or get something built that's new that we haven't done before. Like coming up in CNY Strongest, we have an axle squat, which we've never done before. A truck pull, which I've never done in the harness pull. We haven't done that. We've done the arm over arm pull to you. We've done that. Yeah, and also in May, we're also just doing a regular Olympic overhead, so clean and press, which usually it's whether it's a dumbbell or a log or an axle. We've always done those. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do a regular bar.
Switch it up.
Yeah,
keep it interesting.
Because you go to a lot of these contests, and you're like, it's the same stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, I always think, I guess from all the contests that we put on, I already think that and this is kind of sound conceited, that we do it better than a lot of these promoters that have been doing this for a while.
They seem to be kind of in a groove. They get stuck in that groove, I think. And there was that Utica event that we went out to, John.
Yeah, John does a great job out there. He's completely different.
And it was all outdoors.
Yep.
And like taking those kegs and hurling them over your head,
doing
over
a keg
a
toss.
bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, John at Mohawk Valley, man. He's kind of moved away from the strongman. He does a lot of Olympic stuff out there, and they have a great CrossFit community out there at his gym. And he does a lot of huge. I think he just did a monster 400 people CrossFit event for charity. Wow. He does monster events, but he's one of those guys the same way, man. He just puts on really good events, and we've been to a bunch of them where you're just like, man, I get a T-shirt, and that's really all I get. And for some people, I guess, and everybody competes for a different reason. So. But I always like,
I like the shirts.
Yeah.
I don't compete.
Yeah, we try to make sure everybody has, we do good designs on shirts, and try to give everybody some sort of swag bag. I try to get, stuff from companies. We try to make sure our trophies are good. I kind of just changed them up for the co-ed show, which they're actually custom-made trophies by Tony. Yeah. Which he's going to do those again for CNY Strongest. So I don't know. I just it's one of those things where it's like I like to give back. If you're going to pay in $50, $60, $70 to do a contest, you should have something. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There were 2 things that I noticed. One, you started right from the very beginning, that you've been doing all along, and the second thing that you started doing more recently in your competitions. The first one was, okay, we're done with the competition. Everybody get together for a group picture.
Yep.
And then the other one was where you have the poster for the event. You had a couple of them, and you had all the athletes sign those posters. And I just thought that was really kind of cool. Where did you think of that? Because I hadn't seen that in the other competitions.
The pictures I've seen happen like at like nationals. They'll do them there and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was one of those ones. I'm like, dude, like we did it at our first one, and we didn't do it at Revolution. And then I'm like, man, I really wish I had that picture. Because that was our second contest where we did, once again, like 75 people at Hercules, which was a tiny venue for that. But it was amazing. I thought the whole energy in the room that day was awesome.
We could Photoshop them all together.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? We got to do it for every single one. Yeah. So we do. And then the poster thing, I saw it somewhere. I mean, half the stuff that you see, you just, not everybody has original ideas anymore. But if you see something, like, that's cool, I want to do that. Right. So I just had everybody start autographing the posters. I have, I think, 2 of them. They're going to go up in the garage for now until until we have a facility to put them in. And but yeah, I have them. They're sitting there and they're ready to go. And I don't know if everybody signed them, but we had a good amount of people sign posters, and it's just cool. It's something
constant
different.
Reminders.
Athletes,
please come up and when you have that time to sign the posters. It's
cool. Especially for people that have competed at our shows. What I do with the posters, I try to, with our photographers, I try to get some good shots, and I'll edit them and I'll put them on the poster. So they're not pros. They're not these are amateur people that they get a good face or a good pull or a good lift, and you're like, I'm going to put that on a poster. And it makes the poster look really genuine. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool.
I noticed that with a lot of the promotional materials that you use, that I recognize some of the faces after now have been there for a few years, at these various events, and then it's like, oh look, there's Chrissy or there's whoever,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's
just
a personal touch.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I take a lot of it back to radio. You know what I mean, and promoting and doing those kind of things. How cool is it to have your picture on a poster? You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want that? You know what I mean? Maybe some people don't, but...
Hey, the best I've ever done is I'm a hand model at my company.
There you go! See, then that's...
but...
You've won right there. You've won.
I did a poster. I didn't print it out, but I did a poster of me as a Jedi. So it was from the first Force Awakens where I had, the lightsaber and stuff like that. So I did one of those. And
see that, but you know what? That's that cool stuff, And I think, now at times with the way everything is on social media, and how people are posting videos and that kind of stuff, and you just want something to be a little bit different. And I think that's what we are. So it's cool.
All right, so I think we're winding down with this right now. Is there anything else you want to tell the kids before we wrap things up?
It's been a wild ride. You know what I mean? It's been fun. We've changed a little bit through the years. You know what I mean? With people and that kind of stuff. And some people still train with us, some don't, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? And I think everybody, like I said, everybody who starts this has a reason for doing it. And for me, obviously, my reason is just I loved competition. You know what I mean? I grew up on competition, and and then obviously transitioning to radio in my 20s, and still competing and playing sports at a high level, and it's just everybody has a reason for doing this. That's the biggest thing. So if you have a reason you want to do something, get out and try something different. This is what it is, because this is totally different than anything you'll ever do, and it's awesome. You know what I mean?
All right, we'll post some links in the comments of how to get in touch with 315 Strong if you're interested in more. And
I think we actually mentioned the date for this next competition. It is
May 5th. I don't think we did either. But yeah,
May 5th at 481 Sports Center out in that's Kirkville area.
Yeah, Kirkville, right off 40.
Right off 41.
Right off 41. It is Kirkville, and one other thing too that I didn't mention that we kind of do is I'll always do a lot of promo videos and stuff like that. So we have YouTube. We have stuff on YouTube, and
we'll throw a link into
all the stuff
to the channel in there, and subscribe and find out more information if you're interested.
Yeah, and let's see, just to wrap this up, we've got House of B Entertainment will be present.
That's
at
right.
315 Strong.
That's right.
Not only providing music, but we'll probably do shoot some stuff there as well. So you can look forward to videos in the future for that. But yeah, check out Jamie Big Smoothie at 315 Strong, and don't forget to subscribe. Somewhere over there, subscribe. And,
here, left, right, here, there. No.
And then comment down below. Let us know about more of what you'd like to see from us, and just thank you very much for watching.
All right, I'm Corey.
I'm Smoothie. Jamie. You guys have a good one. Thanks.
And I'm Tommy.
Bye.